Hi and welcome to episode 4 of my Transition Diaries. For those of you who are still watching, well done, good stamina, and I hope you do continue watching. Not much in the way of comments from the previous episodes, so I'll just go straight into how my week's gone. Been back on the estrogens for about a week and not noticed any difference, not that I was expecting to. Mood has been reasonably stable apart from last Saturday when I was a wee bit down, but apart from that the rest of the week's been pretty good and I've kind of been floating along serenely. Work has been tiring but good for the most part. Late-ish finishes on Monday, Tuesday, and was pretty exhausted come Wednesday, but Thursday I had a nice early finish. And then Friday was the review head and neck cancer clinic, and there were tons of patients booked on, but managed to finish not desperately late, and I was quite proud of this. I think I managed to see about 20 patients myself. The only one slightly downside about work was getting misgendered by a couple of patients on that clinic, which, 2 out of 20 is not too bad. Now, if I'm out in public or if it's colleagues, then I'm quite happy to correct people, but if it's a patient, then I've got a duty of care to this patient, and I don't know, I just felt awkward raising it or saying anything about it or doing anything about it, and plus it was a very busy clinic, so I'm not sure even if I'd wanted to say something about it, I would have had the time to. But if anybody's got any suggestions for what I could do about this in the future, then please leave them in the comments. The flip side to this is one of the relatives of one of the patients remembered me from pre-transition and was, if anything, overly congratulatory, which again I found strange. So that was work this week. Dating-wise, as I mentioned before, I'd been on Tinder a wee bit. I had a Tinder date on Tuesday, which was interesting. The guy lied about his height, was shorter than he said he was, which wouldn't have been an issue. I don't mind, but I do have an issue with the lying. Conversation was a bit stop-start. I kept having to prompt, and I don't like the awkward silences, and they were awkward, so I kept filling in the gaps. We'd met in Tinderbox in the West End, and he was already there before me and sat down, so I didn't notice how tall, short rather, he was until we got up to go to Cafe Andaluz for tapas, which the food at Cafe Andaluz is nice as always, portions reasonable size, but yeah, and the other thing, he struggles to maintain eye contact, which again is a big no-no. I don't know whether that's because he was nervous or somewhere on the spectrum. So, but hey, I got a free meal out of it, and that's what I said I wanted. So since then, Tinder has again stopped working and stopped matching me with even the adverts, and Tinder customer support have said, ooh, change your profile and maybe you'll start matching with Pingit and Diesel again. So I'm now on Her, which is a dating app for LGBTQ++ women, and have been chatting with a few people on that and was supposed to go on a date with somebody today, but she has cancelled because she said she has to go into work early. I don't know whether this is a postponement, we've not rescheduled yet, so at the moment I'm going to call that a cancellation. And I don't know whether this is sensible or not, I have applied to go on the next season of First Dates, so please wish me luck. So that's where I am with dating. I feel ready to date again. If any of you have any single pals who you think might be interested, then point them in my direction. I have spoken to my wife again this week, clarified where we stand relationship-wise. We are definitely not going to get a reconciliation. She wishes to formalise a separation, and we're working towards that. trying to keep things civil at the moment. However, I don't think I will be seeing daughter or dog until December from the sounds of things. So that's where we are with that. I got a call from my mum as well, who is still praying for me, but I am still trans, so I don't know how that's working out for her. Maybe she should try praying for something else. The only other thing I've done this week, and this was rather lovely, I actually went through on Sunday to Edinburgh with Ashley, who I wouldn't have described before as a pal, and just somebody I went to dental school with, but actually I would describe her as a pal now. And we were chatting about this while we were out in Edinburgh, that I actually regret not having come out before, because so many people have been so lovely to me since. I wonder whether we would have been quite close if I had come out before, and it's sad that it's taken me this long to accept who I really am. But we had a lovely time, got lunch and some fizz at Harvey Nicks, got some purchases from the Fenty Beauty counter, which I am wearing today. I'm wearing some of the concealer and some of the foundation, which is lovely, beautiful, lightweight, goes on a dream, and very buildable. Better than the MAC Pro Longwear that I was wearing before, so I would highly recommend it, although I think my shade is possibly one too dark. And then we went down Grassmarket and got some ice cream from Mary's Milk Bar, which again is lovely. It's one of my favourite places to go in Edinburgh. Actually, never been before, so that was fantastic. So that's been my week in a nutshell. And rather than doing a wee education section this week, I'm going to talk about my personal experiences with body image, weight and eating, which I mentioned in passing in a previous episode. I can't remember exactly what triggered my issues with eating and weight and body image, but my family have always been feeders, especially my grandmother on my dad's side, but I didn't really have much control over what I ate when I was at home. But at secondary school, took a packed lunch with me, and I just remember disposing of that at school, and I don't remember what started it, but that's the first I can remember doing anything with that. Was I unhappy about my weight when I was at school? I don't think I really thought too much about it when I was at school, but with regards to body image, I wasn't happy about it, but I didn't feel like there was much I could do about it at the time. Got to med school, went a wee bit off the rails, I guess. Was eating okay, I guess, but probably drinking too much. On quite a restricted budget, so not spending very much money on food, and weight started to come down then, and has just kept coming down gradually since. Like, I tried to eat sensibly when I could, but yeah, would skip meals sometimes, and then binge, and then restrict, and then binge, and sometimes get out of it, sometimes get back into it, but yeah, it was not a great cycle to be in. After med school, during FY, I was eating a lot better, feeling a bit more confident in myself. Not so many body image issues, I guess. Still a wee bit wild, still at this stage, I guess, presenting as non-binary, and was reasonably okay with life, or maybe I was just burying my head in the sand and ignoring issues. Then met my wife, started going out, got married, and for a while anyway, body image issues went completely. I was eating as healthily as I'd ever done. I'd always been into cooking for other people more so than myself. I tend to eat better when I've got somebody else to cook for, so yes, this is an invitation to my pals, come around, let me cook for you, because that'll make me eat better myself. And I enjoy cooking. So yeah, it was in a good place for a while, but towards the back end of things, I started purging for the first time in my life and just feeling absolutely horrible and shit about myself, and that wasn't great. And then I don't know whether it was the depression or what, but I started not eating so much and my portions would be going down in size, and my wife remarked that I was eating less than the baby, and I guess I was, but I just didn't have an appetite for anything. It wasn't deliberate. That's where I'd got to, and then I suppose by the time I was admitted under psych, I weighed 61 kilos, which was absolutely terrible for somebody as tall as I am. Since getting out, I've tried to eat a bit better, but obviously still had the body image issues. Saw my weight coming back up to towards 65 kilos, which is I know in my head that's a good thing, but the irrational side of me is telling me that I'm disgusting and I'm fat and I'm hideous and I should do something about it. And then one day when I was feeling particularly low about some things that had fallen through and cancelled dates and whatever, I just flipped and binged and purged and took laxatives, which I'm not proud of at all, but I'm in a position where I'm comfortable saying this on camera now, so I guess that's progress. And now those of you who follow me on Instagram have seen that I'm back to cooking, baking, whatever, and I am eating better and I'm feeling happy about food. I'm in a comfortable place about food. Still underweight, I know, but with regards to body image, it's a strange thing. When I look at myself in the mirror, I see myself as fat, but when I see photos of myself, I'm like, wow, who is that? That can't be me. That's a skinny person. So it's a really strange one. I don't know that I'm ever going to be in a place to get over that. But as long as I can manage it and make sensible decisions about what I do and don't eat, and not binging and not purging and not laxing, then I hope I'll be okay. And you know, once my confidence improves elsewhere, then I hope to be in a position where I'm able to manage that better. So for those of you who've had genuine issues with eating disorders, my heart goes out to you, because I've not had anything as bad as some of you. And just anecdotally, these seem to be very widespread among medics and dentists. So I really do feel for you. I think that's all I've got to say for this week. So please, any comments, let me know. If you've got any single friends, let me know. Otherwise, please tune back in next week, and bye for now.